Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to this segment of Code Gurbani's a-sabad-a-day. We continue with Bhagat Kabir Ji and Rag Asa. And the passage is as follows. Bati Suki Tel Nikhuta, Mandal na baje, nat pe suta. बुझ गई अगन ना निकस्यो धुआं, रव रहा एक अवर नहीं दुआ रहाओ। टूटी तंत न बज्जै रबाब, भुल बिगाड़ियो अपना काज। कथनी बदनी कहन कहावन, समझ पड़ी तो बिसरियो गावन। कहत कबीर पंच जो चूरे, तिनके नाहे परम पद दूरे. So it's a short passage, 2 verses each. But let's focus on the rahau, the contemplation for the Sabad, where Kabir Ji says, Bujh gai agan na niksyo dhuan. Bujh gai, extinguished, na niksyo dhuan, smoke does not escape. The fire is extinguished. Rav rahya ek avar nahi dua. Rav rahya, a reference to the Creator Self, who's called the Rav. The Rav meaning the one that is brilliant, the one that is spread out. We use that as a synonym for the sun as well. It's brilliant and it's spread everywhere. Rav rahya ek. So here ek is unicity and implies an impending union. Avar nahi, nothing else. Dua, duality. So when the fire is extinguished and the smoke does not escape, one experiences unicity. That is to say, one's perception moves away from duality to a unitive mystical experience of what is then experienced as brilliant and all-pervasive. It's a completely different way of looking at the universe. So the question is, which fire, which smoke, and where is the fire? And that we get a sense of in the other verse, supporting verses. The first one, Bati Suki Tel Nikhuta. Bati. Bati is the wick of a lamp. And if you recall, in the adjacent verses, Kabir Ji speaks of the body as a lamp, the wick, the mind, and knowledge as the oil or the vital force. Now, the vital force is here referred to as Tel. What Tel is doing, Bati is the wick. Tel and Nikhuta is when you withdraw the oil of desires, because the vital force brings with it desire, because it is made of desire. The issue is not desire itself, but the issue is when it becomes passion, and passion that is not in any way controllable. So you see, when we are left to ourselves, to our natural state, our passions are volatile. They are not under control because they receive sustenance from desire. That's the oil, that's the fire. So what Kabir Ji is saying, if you wish for that unitive experience, that ek, then you have to dry up the oil of desire. Suki, what that means is The passions, which are already volatile, have to be controlled. They have to be guided, redirected. That's the first prerequisite. Then, mandal na bajay. Mandal, the drum. Na bajay. Nat per suta. Nat is one who dances, the actor, the performer. In this passage, it is the performer is the mind. Mandal is the noise of the world, the drum, the static of the world that is constantly playing in our minds. Likes, dislikes, and so on, the opposites. That's the noise in our heads. So Kabirji says, you have to literally dry out the passions, you have to redirect them by lowering the temperature, withdrawing. Nikhuta does not mean extinguishing as such, it means burying it deep, controlling it, in other words, and becoming oblivious to the noise of the sound of the world. Natua pe sutta, being oblivious to it. Now, this is guidance for accomplishing anything. If you wish to accomplish anything, you cannot be distracted by the world. So therefore, you have to guide your motivation and attention onto the thing that you wish to accomplish. You cannot be distracted. Bujh gayi agan na niksyo dua. We've talked about this. The agan is, of course, the agan of Trishna, the fire of Trishna, here used in a negative sense, that gives rise to vices, because it's the same fire. You just have to shift its direction. The same fire will get you virtue, the same desire will get you vice, depending on how you direct it. So, niksyo tuwa means when your thoughts are under control, when your mind is not exploding with thoughts that are coming out. A silenced mind. A lack of distraction, a silenced mind, totally focused. These are the conditions that Kabirji is laying out. And then he gives us an illustration to make his point. He says, look, tuti tant na bajje rabab, tuti tant, when the string breaks, the rabab, which is a musical instrument, a string instrument, cannot be played. It doesn't make music. Or at any rate, the music that comes out of it is a cacophony. It's not harmonious. In a similar way, the instrument of our psychic apparatus, the mind-body, is tinged with a defect, namely forgetfulness. Pul bigario, that's the corruption. Forgetfulness. We've forgotten our innate nature. And what is the defect? Haume compromises our ability to change the quality of our experience. Our experience is very conditioned, habitual, robotic. We're doing the same thing over and over and over again. So we are not fine-tuned anymore. And it's only a fine-tuned instrument that can produce beautiful music. So the music of Sikhi, of Gurmat, if it has to play out through you, your instrument has to be fine-tuned. Everything has to be harmonious. Mind, body, spirit, the environment. You're at one with it. Kathni badni kahan kahavan, samaj parito bisryo gavan. Then you don't engage in needless talk. Kathni, badni. Kathni is to say, speak. Badni is opposition. Kahan kahavan is to order or to tell people what to do. Kahan kahavan is to sort of assert your viewpoint or yourself. Samaj parito bisryo gavan. Gavan means when you apply yourself. When you apply yourself, it is called consideration of something. So you have to really, really apply yourself to the object of whatever it is that you want to accomplish. And here we are talking about accomplishing that experience that Gurbani speaks of, union with the self. It's a whole different consciousness, a different way of looking at the world, experiencing the world. That is what Gurbani is talking about. So Kabirji says, when you pay attention, you will realize that all of this engagement with dialogue and argumentation, because if you recall, he was talking about scripture and the reading and scholarly disputes. All of this, he says, is just needless. Only through the act of applying oneself that understanding dawns and this inner conflict is overcome, because this can be an inner conflict as well. And we are conflicted inside. Kahat Kabir Panch Jo Chura. Kabir calls them natural, eminent leaders of men. Those Jo Chura. Chura is to crush, to pulverize. So what are you pulverizing here? It is the ego that has to be literally pulverized. Tinke nahe paramapad dure. They are at the threshold of that supreme state, of that universal consciousness. They have gotten, by doing these things, they have reached the door, the threshold. They're not there yet. Parampad dura, nahe parampad dura. So this is a threshold that you have to reach first through some of your own effort. And then you make the transition into that other consciousness. You can't do that yourself. For that you need Nam. This is preparation for Nam. And that is a gift. It comes through grace. Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh.